Guess I better switch to off-road mode.
Greetings, my name is Jim and this is Exploretti. Thanks for tuning into the channel today. If it's your first time stopping by and you're looking for adventure motorcycling content, you may have come to the right place. On this channel, I like to do some gear reviews as well as some trail and riding reviews. So if you dig that sort of stuff, please consider subscribing. Today, we'll be riding Upper Geneva Creek Road in the Front Range of Colorado's Rocky Mountains. Quick shout out to trailsoffroad.com. It's one of the sites I go to when I'm researching a location to ride. The vast majority of the time I'm out riding alone and I try not to get in over my head. Having good trail intel is pretty important. You can see the summer of 2023 was pretty damp for the Front Range. Here we've got some puddling at lower elevations on Geneva Creek Road. And back in October of 2022, I did this ride on my Harley Davidson Pan America. That day easily ranked as a top 3 day of the year for me. It was a bit later in the season and I chose to ride kind of middle of the week, so I had the entire upper basin to myself. When I rode Geneva Creek in 2022, the trail followed a nice, fairly linear progression in the surface type and skill level required to ride it. You'd start off with kind of your standard forest service road, which slowly progressed to more and more embedded rock, which is, I don't know, I like riding through some of that stuff. It's kind of fun. And then as you progressed further up the trail, you would encounter a lot more loose material, just loose rocks, baby heads. It was real chossy, and some of it was pretty pitchy. So it was a fun and interesting challenge, certainly for me on the Pan America. And when I got to the top, it was, I pretty much had the entire basin to myself. It was just an absolutely gorgeous day weather-wise. It was one of those experiences that you just remember and want to kind of recapture. So I was looking forward to taking the Aprilia Tuareg up there for a couple of reasons. One, and mostly, was to kind of see how my impression of the Tuareg compared with the Pan America. The Tuareg's quite a bit lighter, and for sure out of the two bikes that I currently have, it is much more off-road biased than the Pan America is. And so let's fast forward to 2023. The 2022-2023 winter season in Colorado was phenomenal for moisture content. So a lot of the high or upper alpine passes were snowed in until August or September. So this ride took place in August of 2023, shortly after the Forest Service had reopened the road. So it was open for a bit, then they closed it down for maintenance, and then they reopened it. And as we'll see in a little bit, they definitely came in with a dozer and some other equipment, and you'll notice just how much the surface changed. Here on the left, I have some footage from last year, and then on the right, this year. So there's a lot more dirt. There's a lot less loose material on the roadway. So what was more of a challenging ride is now not nearly as challenging on two wheels. Certainly on four wheels, people are going to be cruising up there in Subarus, or maybe just something that's got a touch more ground clearance to clear some of the water bars. So a lot more just dirt, and then some rock mixed into the dirt, but it's all, at least in August, it was all packed in pretty good, which made for a different riding experience. Certainly made a lot better time, and made better time for a couple of reasons. Certainly the road structure, I think more confidence, more time, and then the Tuareg's just got more travel, so you can do a little bit better in terms of speed than you can on a bigger or heavier bike, just because the bike's taking a little bit less abuse. So as we near the summit here, there's a lot of campsites that are just dotting the entire trail all the way up. And this is a small campsite near, or a small little I hate to say campground, but a little camping area near an upper alpine lake. This last push up towards the summit is pretty chossy, so still a lot of loose material here, not as big as kind of the baby head stuff, but it's pretty loose. So this is kind of a fun portion of the ride. Again, a little bit more of a test, at least for I think the rider and the machine. Again, I like ascending this stuff a lot more than I like descending it. If you can imagine the same contact patch going down, you know, every pound you add on is just making it that more difficult to feel comfortable, competent, and in control. So we kind of reached the summit here. We decided to launch the drone, so we're going to pull the Skydio 2 out. I had a couple of mishaps with the Skydio 2 this year that caused it to fly into a tree, and I kind of eventually traced those back to a bad battery. But we'll get that out, we'll have it lock onto us, and then up towards the summit area, there's a couple of areas where you can cruise around, some old structures that you can see. You'll want to take, and this is something I'm probably not great at, but you do want to take a minute to read the signs, because vehicles are forbidden to go past a few of the signs. So you'll just want to make sure you're aware of those, know where to stop. But it is a phenomenal ride and or drive that's relatively close to the Denver metro area. If you can tackle it during the week, it is just a blast. You're going to find a lot less people up there. If you're planning on camping up there, get there early on the weekends. If you've got a rooftop tent, great. You can level your car up pretty well. If you're on a ground tent, you're going to be hard pressed in most cases to find like a flat spot. Here we've got a little bit of a water crossing. Some guys in a Jeep are taking some pics. They cleared the way, and water crossing's pretty straightforward. I did take a spill on my Pan America back in 2022, which is still pretty fresh in my mind. So I tend to roll through the water crossings pretty gingerly. We're going to turn around here, and then we head back down. The descent on Upper Geneva Creek Road is quite a bit easier now, with only the very topmost portion offering any sort of challenge, and then you're just kind of reading the terrain and identifying when to let the bike roll, when to rein in your speed, and picking a relatively mundane line. The vast majority of the trail from here on south is much easier to navigate. So thank you very much, everybody, for riding along. It's been a bit since I've had a video out. Thanks for being patient, and ride safe.
All right. So, well, some footage there. It did pretty good, and it's nice to be able to get footage like that. I just wish the thing folded up, but it does not. It does, yep. Yeah, in my real dainty tailback.